All right, this is section 5.08, solving multi-step equations. Remember that when you solve an equation, you're trying to find out what value of x can make the equation true. And in order to do that, you need to get x by itself on one side of the equation. So here I can see that I have two places where x is. So before I do anything else, I need to combine those so that I just can get 1x by itself on one side of the equation. So these are like terms, 3x and 5x, meaning they have the exact same variable part. So I can combine those. 3x's and 5x's gives me 8x's plus 2 equals 10. Now I can't combine 8x and 2 because those are not like terms. This has a variable of x, this has no variable. I cannot add those together. Now I just need to get rid of the 2 and the times 8. And remember, we have an order to do that in that we learned with date night, where this is our wingman, this is you, and this is your date, the one closest to you. So we want to drop off the wingman first. So I need to undo that adding 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides of my equation. That gets rid of my wingman, and it's just me and my date left. Over here I have 8. 10 minus 2 is 8. Now I need to drop off my date. My date is being multiplied by x, so to undo multiplication, I do division. That gets rid of my date, and I have x left. But we need to do the same thing on the other side. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So x is equal to 1 is my answer. To check it, I plug 1 back into my original equation. Notice I'm going to have to plug it in twice, here and here. So I'm going to write 3 times 1 instead of 3 times x, because I got 1 for my answer, plus 2, plus 5 times 1 equals 10. So I've just rewritten the equation, but everywhere where there was an x, I put a 1, because that's what I got for x. Now I do order of operations. I do my multiplication first. So 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 1 is 5, and now I add 3 and 2 is 5, plus 5 is 10. So 10 is equal to 10, and I did my equation correctly. Alright, going on to letter B. I'm trying to solve this equation. I'm trying to get B by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I need to first combine my terms that have B in them. So I've got 2b here and negative 4b here. When I combine those, that's going to be a negative 2b. I still have my plus 3, and that equals 17. Again, you can't combine this and this because this has a b and this does not have a b. So now I need to get b by itself. So I need to undo the plus 3 and the times negative 2. I'm going to use date night. So I'm going to get rid of my wingman first, or my plus 3 first. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I've gotten rid of my wingman. It's just me and my date left. And over here I have 17 minus 3 is 14. So here's you, here's your date. You need to drop off your date. Right now your date is being multiplied by b, so you need to divide by that same thing to drop off your date. And we'll do it on this side too. And so you'll get b is equal to negative 7. It's a negative because I had a positive divided by a negative, which always gives me a negative answer. I checked that by plugging negative 7 back into my equation everywhere I had a b. So I'm going to write 2 times negative 7 instead of 2 times b, plus 3 minus 4 times negative 7. And that's supposed to equal 17. I do my order of operations. So I multiply first. That gives me negative 14. Negative 7 times negative 4 times negative 7 gives me a positive 28. I still have my plus 3 in there. So now negative 14 plus 3 gives me negative 11 plus 28. And then negative 11 plus 28 is indeed 17. So my answer is correct. Let's go to the last one. On this last one, we have to do distributive property because you have that 4 being multiplied by these things, and then we'll combine like terms. So I'm going to distribute that multiply by 4 to each term inside the parentheses. So 4 times 2y will give me 8y, and then 4 times 3 will give me 12. Then I'm going to subtract 6, and that will get me to 38. Notice I distributed the 4 to what was inside the parentheses, but not what was outside of the parentheses. And now I can combine like terms, because these are like terms, neither of them has a variable. 12 minus 6 is 6. So I can write this like this. Again, we're trying to get y by itself, so we need to undo this plus 6 and the times 8. We can use our normal date night story, where this is you, this is your date, and this is your wingman. Drop off your wingman first, of course, by undoing that addition. We do that with the inverse of addition, which is subtraction. So 38 minus 6 gives me 32. And over here I have 8y equal to 32. Now I drop off my date. Right now y is being multiplied by 8, so I need to divide by 8 on both sides, and I will get y is equal to 4. I check that by plugging it 4 back in for y in my original equation. So 4 times 2 times 4 instead of 2 times y plus 3 minus 6. So order of operations says do grouping symbols first, and within that I have multiplication and addition. I need to multiply before I add. So I have 4 times 8 plus 3 minus 6. Again, finish the grouping symbols first. So 4 times 11 minus 6. That's going to give me 44 minus 6, which is 38. So I got 38 here and here. So my answer is correct.